What is up, lovely people? We are live making a green curry seafood boil. It's gonna be amazing. This is more just like a green curry with gorgeous seafood in it. And we've teamed up with, I think, the undisputed champion of seafood, Fulton Fish Market. They're amazing. If you haven't heard of them, you're about to become obsessed as we are. I'll get you totally all the info. We're gonna walk through this recipe. It's gonna be a blast. If we have not met before, I am Joel. I'm so excited to be here live with you today. I'm the head chef here at Homemade. And this is just like cooking together in the kitchen. We just happen to not be in the physical kitchen. We're in the digital kitchen. And what I love about that is you can interact with me in real time. So our culinary producer is in the chat. Meg, what is up?
What is up? I'm so excited for this one. This is like how I cook, how I eat.
I know.
Some of my favorite flavors, seafood, honestly. Scallops are like one of my faves.
I know, we're playing with two different pieces of seafood today. We're gonna talk about unbelievable shrimp. This is American, domestic, gorgeous shrimp, and then beautiful sea scallops. So we'll talk about those, but I'm the same way, Meg. And I also feel like this time of year, I want something comforting, but not like a gut bomb. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be rolled out of my kitchen. I just want like something light, fragrant, but at the same time kind of feels like a hug because the weather's turning. This is like the perfect thing. So, like I said, Fulton Fish Market, they're our partners today. What makes them so special is I don't think we have any partner in the kitchen that's been around for, I think, over 100 years. They've been around for, I think, 200 plus years.
Yeah.
I used to live in New York, and Fulton Fish Market was a market in New York, hand curated, still is, supplies the best restaurants in the world, but then just a handful of years ago, they opened up to direct to consumer. So we're able to get the same curation, the same quality, the same experience, the same just everything that a unbelievable Michelin star chef would get, but delivered right to your home, and this is across the country. We have our own special deal with them. We don't see any proceeds. This is all with Fulton Fish Market. We just believe so much in what they do. So it's $50 off your first subscription. It's like a seafood subscription, and they can send you kind of a surprise every subscription, or it can be kind of you can pick. So it's totally kind of make it yourself, and they kind of come like this. So beautifully frozen, kind of at its peak. We've got beautiful wild blue shrimp. So it just comes frozen like that. This is sustainable, chemical-free, incredible shrimp. We'll talk about the flavor. And then dry packed sea scallops. A lot of the times people ask me, how do you get caramelized scallops? How do you really get that crust? You buy dry packed scallops, not the ones that are kind of sitting in the brine. Those make them really difficult. They almost steam versus saute. So getting the dry packed is key to getting that crust. So both of these great. We'll talk a lot about it. Yes. And how do you redeem the $50, by the way?
Okay, so if you put in code HOMEMADE at checkout, you will get $50 off your first subscription. And I also put in the chat, we have our own page on Fulton Fish Market where you can find.
We have our own page.
Yeah, we do, with all of our recipes. So like you were saying,
so cool.
Caramelized scallops. I know we've done that in the past. If you want to watch another video like this one, you can go to that link.
I didn't know we had our own page. Now I feel so, okay, now we've been working with Fulton Fish Market for so long. We love them, and we continue we live in Seattle. We get amazing seafood. We get shocked on how incredible the seafood is that gets shipped to us. Again, it's just so well curated. So we'll dive into it, but let's get going. This green curry, I think curry confuses people. Like, what is it? Unless you grew up with it, you're like, I'm not gonna make a curry. I don't really even order it. I don't know how to order it. Curry just means kind of a mixture of spices, okay? And when you buy green curry paste, this is usually from like Southeast Asia. So this is something like from Thai cooking, Vietnamese cooking, that type of thing. But when you buy Thai green curry paste, it kind of looks like this. I don't know what I'd equivalent that to. Play-Doh, it feels like Play-Doh, okay? Inside of it is chili, lemongrass, garlic, coriander, lime leaves. You can buy all these things. You can grind them up and make your own paste, and it would taste bright. But it's so much more cost efficient, so much quicker to just buy it at the grocery store. It's a great little hack. You can freeze what you don't use. And honestly, it's really good. Like, it's really good. Green curry paste nowadays are so fragrant and beautiful and aromatic. So we're gonna show you how to kind of take this base and make this beautiful kind of boil out of it. So base to the side, we're gonna start with 2 little ingredients here. We've got ginger and we've got garlic. And with both of these, we're just gonna slice them. So I took some ginger and I just sliced it with the peel on, all right? And then I'm just gonna kind of stack them like a little deck of cards and just thin little matchsticks. This just adds a little heat, a little spice, but like a sweet spice. We all love ginger. This looks great. And I washed the ginger. Everyone else was like, oh, you don't peel it. I don't peel it because why waste the peel? It has a lot of flavor. But I do give it a good wash. So there you go. Little matchsticks, easy. There's one more here. Just give it a quick chop. And then with the garlic, I'm just going to do like little coins. So I'm just going to slice little kind of slivers. And we like to keep this just a little bit chunky and toothsome. So you kind of bite into some ginger, bite into some garlic, and that's just a nice kind of contrast. Meg, how did you come up with this recipe? What was the inspo?
I mean, the inspo was that I made something similar for myself at home, and I was like, the homemaders are going to love this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just like the perfect level of like effort meets flavor, meets tender, sweet, seafood. I don't know. It just all goes together so well.
It's funny because you don't think of like a seafood boil going kind of Asian vibes, and I love this kind of mix up and mash up. I think it's genius. By the way, if this is your first time to our amazing channel, make sure you hit subscribe. We're here live every week, multiple times a week. We are like the cooking classes for the world. We've been around for 5 years. We have millions of people who take cooking class with us. So this is your first time. It's so nice to meet you, and thank you for being here. And all these recipes are tested by Meg, her team, okayed by me, all that stuff. So this is really, we put a lot of thought into this. So we have a big Dutch oven, and we're gonna add a couple of good glugs of neutral oil here. And we're gonna just go in on a medium-high heat and just start kind of frying our garlic and ginger, all right? And I kind of babysit this because I don't want these to burn. They happen pretty quickly, but I'm at like a 5 out of 10, all right? So it doesn't have to be blasting. The spoon is like falling apart. Happens to the best of us. But already, I'm just getting so much fragrance out of these. And just to kind of add to it, we're huge about not wasting anything, and actually Fulton Fish Market's the same. And so what we want to do is we've got some cilantro, and we're not going to waste the bottoms. A lot of people just take the tops off and peel them off the tops. But I'm actually going to take the bottom and slice the stems really thin. All right? And I'm going to leave the tops for kind of the garnish at the end. But these stems I'm going to actually add right in to the base. And what you find out with like a seafood boil pretty quickly is it's all about layering flavors. So we start with the garlic and the ginger, then we add that kind of beautiful stems, and we're just kind of going flavor on top of flavor. We've got some green onions. I'm gonna take the white parts, which are a little bit more toothsome. I'm gonna slice these up and saute them, and I'm gonna take the tops and save those for the garnish as well. So kind of the soft parts of the herbs, save for the end, and kind of the more woodsy, chewier parts, they go right in and kind of build the base. This looks great. How are we doing in the chat, Meg? Anything coming up?
Doing great. Remy actually asks, do you think that the green curry is better for this recipe rather than a red?
Ooh, good question. I do. Red curry, to me, has a very pronounced flavor. It's got a lot of funk to it. I like it with beef, chicken, pork, those types of things. They kind of hold up. Seafood's a little bit more delicate, and the green's a little bit more floral. So I like the green. Could you do red with it? It would still be great. But the green doesn't mask the seafood. It complements the seafood. Good question. All right. It's time for our green curry paste. So the only thing you got to do with this is just kind of toast it. And I don't mean stick it in the toaster. That'd be a disaster. But I mean, literally just add, this is a couple tablespoons of the green curry paste to the bottom of the pan. Richard, can you, yep, you see that right there? And just kind of break it up. It's almost like tomato paste, right? And you just kind of let it toast in that pan with all those spices, the cilantro stems, the chopped scallions. And by toasting it, you know, inside there is galangal, which is like ginger. There's lime leaf, there's cumin. So we're kind of just bringing out the natural oils and essence of everything in that paste. Just scraping the bottom and just kind of toasting the whole thing. And your kitchen at this point, let me just look you in the eyes, has never smelled this good. Okay? This is peak smells. This is the best. If you could capture this and make it a car freshener, I would pay a lot of money. A lot of money. Well, what else? Here's another thing I'd capture. Can someone capture fresh baked bread? Capture it. Make it a car freshener. I want culinary car fresheners. What do we think about this idea? Are we into that? Meg doesn't like it.
I don't know, because I'm just going to want to eat bread all the time.
Okay.
Which that's already a
party of one. You don't want bread all the time?
No, I do, but...
You don't want to smell it all the time? What about like cookies?
Cookies.
There's so many flavors.
I feel like I would definitely take this one. I think cilantro, chili, garlic, like cooking.
I'm sorry, you want a cilantro air freshener?
Yeah.
Meg, you and I just come from really two different places. I want a cookie, you want a cilantro. I love it. All right, so the base is toasted. You only got to give this about a minute, and then we're going to start making this broth. And this broth is kind of creamy. It's got some body because it has two main things to it. We've got good old-fashioned chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock, or seafood stock would be even better, which I'm sure you could get at Fulton Fish Market, but if you can't, you can make that with shrimp shells, fish bones, those types of things. So I'm going to go in with some chicken stock, right? And now I'm going to turn the heat up all the way to boil. And then I'm going to go in with some coconut milk, all right? I have a little bit of a thing here with coconut milk. There's like this big trend of getting coconut milk like non-fat or low-fat. Get the whole-fat coconut milk, peeps. It tastes so much different to me. Do you know what I'm talking about, Meg?
Oh, totally.
It just doesn't have the body. It doesn't have, I don't know. If you're going to use coconut milk, use coconut milk. If you're trying to watch it, maybe don't use coconut milk. But doing the light stuff, it's just not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Is that bad? Because I'm always trying to watch it, but coconut milk is just one of those places I'm not going to do it. Sometimes, Richard, maybe we can get in there. When you open up your coconut milk, oh, can you get in? Yeah, tight. Let's get in tight to the can. We'll try real quick. See if we can't get there. There we go. Nice, dude. See how it gets kind of stuck on the sides? That's just the coconut milk just kind of clinging up, or kind of getting a little bit solid. It's like butter, right? Like that's coconut fat. So don't worry if you see that. That doesn't mean the coconut milk went bad. Just got to scrape it out. It will melt into the soup. First time I saw that, I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? And because they kind of come out sometimes a little bit in pieces, I like to use a whisk to kind of break it up a little bit. And you can see how creamy this whole mixture is getting, and it smells divine. It smells so good. Again, at this point, I'm on a boil. So I'm trying to get this up to speed as fast as I can, just to kind of start infusing all those flavors and making this gorgeous bath for this unbelievable seafood. So while this is kind of coming up to a boil, we're going to add 2 more ingredients. These are necessary. These are not ones that you can just be like, I'm not using it. These are so important. Touch of brown sugar. Okay, brown sugar in curry just really plays well with those sweet spices. It almost brings them out even more, like salt. So just a little bit of brown sugar goes right in. And then this one on its own smells like gym socks, but with everything in the world, it's the best seasoning of all time, fish sauce. And it does have a funk to it if you're not used to it. If you're used to it, it's probably beautiful and floral. If you're not used to it, it's really pronounced. But the more you cook with fish sauce, the more you realize the power of fish sauce. And it just has this umami, kind of unbelievable rich background flavor that soy sauce or any of those others just can't replicate. So a touch of fish sauce goes in as well. That's going to kind of season it kind of in a salty way. And we're just kind of mixing that through. And again, I'm just getting this kind of up to a boil. How are we doing in the chat? Any questions?
Yeah, I have kind of a question for you.
Yeah.
So we just put coconut milk in here, coconut milk, seafood. Kara was asking about seafood and dairy.
Oh,
I know
that's a
people
great
say
question.
not to pair them. What do you think about that?
So I think it depends, because if you think about clam chowder, that's dairy, right? And that's cream and milk, and this is not that. So this is not dairy. This is, you know, coconut. So it's a little bit lighter, but I actually think dairy and seafood in the right application really works. Tuna melts kind of works, but there's a time and a place. So it's a great call out. In this place and time, it works. So you can see everything is now up to a boil. It looks like a hot tub in there. So we're going to add some patrons to that hot tub. So the first and foremost, since this is a seafood boil and it's the end of summer, we've got gorgeous sweet corn. So I'm just going to go in. I just kind of chunked them up, bite size. And those just go in. And when it comes to a seafood boil, you kind of want to add things that are going to take the longest to cook first, right? We're kind of layering this. So corn's going to take about, 15 minutes to steam and boil up. So that goes in first. And then we've got these beautiful little marble potatoes. These are my absolute favorite, these little kind of Yukon Golds. And I'm just going to kind of split them in half so they're a little bit more bite-sized. You don't have to if you don't want to. I like to. These are so good. And the potatoes themselves, for as good as the green curry is, this entire thing is in service of the seafood. Because once we add our scallops and our shrimp in there, the corn, the potatoes, everything just kind of drinks up the seafood flavors. This looks great. If you got small ones, pop it in. You just kind of want to make sure everything's around the same size. Oh, this looks awesome. All right. Hearing seafood boil, by the way, at the end of summer is kind of depressing. It's kind of making me feel like this is the last call, but I feel like this would be really good in the winter. So don't feel like you have to do this in the summer. All right, so we've got our potatoes. We've got our corn. Look at that. Look how good that's already looking. It kind of looks like a chowder in itself. I want to give this a flavor test real quick. I want to see if I can get, do I have a little spoon here? Maybe not. Oh yeah, I do. Let's take a look. Oh. Woo! Wow. That like swallowed and then hit. Really nice warm chili on the back. Super fragrant. You're already getting the sweetness from the corn. It's delicious. I'm gonna add a nice pinch of salt. We're just gonna kind of flavor and season as we go.
Someone was asking in the chat how spicy this recipe is. What would you say?
It's as spicy as you want it to be. We got a mild green curry paste. You can get one that's more spicy, or you can get one that is not spicy at all, and you can control the spice by adding chili flakes or other kind of, like, you could add chili oil, lots of different ways to kind of infuse. You could do fresh jalapenos, but it's up to you. If you want it no spice, it's gonna be awesome. Trust me, you don't need to do it. I'm gonna add some green beans, just for color, for brightness, for freshness. So I'm just gonna go with like a handful of this right in. Oh, that looks so good. And just make sure these little tails are kind of picked off. Here, Richard, let's see if we can get these. These, I don't know, I go to people's houses for dinner, and they don't think you have to remove these. And it's like one of the one times as a chef that I have to say something. Usually when I go to someone's house for dinner and they invite me over, I'm so grateful they're cooking, because no one ever cooks for a chef. They're worried about, they're intimidated or whatever it is, which is ridiculous. But you leave the little tails on the green beans, Big Papa's got to say something, okay?
I have something to say about that.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
Not about the green beans, but how people don't cook for chefs.
Yeah, tell me.
I face that problem a lot.
Yes.
Because I think people are like, oh, well, you're not going to like it. It's not going to be very good. That's my love language. That's why I love to cook. I love to be cooked for, too. So just cook for your chef friends.
And let me just tell you something. You could roast a chicken. Okay, it doesn't have to be fancy.
No.
Make me like scrambled eggs. I'll be thrilled. Thrilled. Anything except for green beans with the tail still on. Not down with that.
We love food.
We love food, okay? We're chefs. All right, Speaking of loving food, this is one of my all-time favorite little hacks. I know a lot of people have seen it. It's one of those viral things. I've been teaching it for years, but this is a really great way to tackle cherry tomatoes. So cherry tomatoes are still in season. This is a great time to kind of take advantage of them. If you're making this in the winter, scratch the cherry tomatoes, but right now, go grab them. And I've got a handful of them, and it's just a pain in the butt to kind of do each one. So we grab 2 little deli containers. You can use plates as well. And Richard, might want to get close to the board here. Yeah, beautiful. And you just kind of put them onto one deli container like this. And you put the other deli container on top and just kind of hold it tight and grab a knife and just kind of go through. And you can literally see all of them are cut beautifully, right in half. Yep, and then you can just pick them up. You want to follow me to the, there we go. And just kind of toss them in. I got a couple extra, I'll do it again. So these go on here, deli on top. This is really good with grapes too, and olives without pits. Olives with pits, bad idea. Bad idea. All right, this is looking awesome. So let's just review kind of where we've been, because we're gonna get right into the seafood, but this looks stunning as is. We added some aromatics to the pot with some garlic and ginger and kind of fried that up. And then we added the green curry paste. We added chicken stock and a little bit of coconut milk. And then we added corn, green beans, beautiful potatoes, tomatoes, and we are just kind of letting that simmer away, all right? And all those things are cooking while we can tackle our seafood. So we've talked about what makes, you know, Fulton Fish Market so special. And when it comes to seafood, it's about timing, it's about where is it coming from, the sourcing of it. And when you team up with Fulton Fish Market, you're teaming up with 200 years plus experience. You're teaming up with not a giant conglomeration, but a really focused team of people who care so much about getting you the freshest seafood on the planet, right to your doorstep. So I want to call out again, if you're kind of interested, maybe you don't cook a lot of seafood, maybe you're landlocked and don't have access to it, $50 off. That is exclusive to Homemade. Using the code HOMEMADE, Meg is going to put the code in the chat. Click that, redeem it, $50 off your first subscription order. Do it. Get on a seafood subscription. You will not regret it. Right now, I'm watching my protein intake. I want to get a lot of protein. Seafood's one of the easiest ways to do it. Each one of these have like 20 plus grams of protein between the scallops and the shrimp per serving. It's lean, it's fast to cook. You can freeze it. We got to cook more seafood, more fish at home. And no one does it better than Fulton Fish Market. So we've got 2 different seafood, but you could use lots of different pieces of seafood for this. But I like these both. So the first we're going to talk about are these colossal sea scallops. They're colossal because, I mean, can we talk about how big they are? Go try and find a scallop that big. This is as big as the palm of my hand. Look at that. That is a big scallop, okay? I adore scallops. These have been harvested by hand in Massachusetts. Never, ever been treated with chemicals, okay? They smell sweet. Everyone says, oh, you should, when you smell seafood, you should smell the sea. Wrong, you should smell nothing. And when you smell this, you smell nothing. They just smell like this beautiful essence of sweetness. You will smell it and you will know this is quality. When you get these scallops, sometimes they have this thing on it. Richard, we want to get really close on this one. And since we're live, oh, you were already there. Richard, you're so good. So right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like this little kind of like side kind of clinging to it. And this is called the foot of the scallop. So it just kind of stays there. If you cook it with the foot of the scallop on, nothing's going to happen. It's just a little chewy. But I like to remove that. You can just take it off with your fingers. And I freeze these in a bag, and I save them for seafood stocks, things like that, chowders. You can fry them up like calamari, but they're a little kind of chewy when you just saute them up. So I'll show you guys again how we do that. Here's the foot. Some of them are already defooted. It just depends. And this is what holds the scallop, the muscle, onto the actual shell itself. So you just kind of peel it off. My kids have started doing this, and they love it. They can't believe scallop have feet. It's pretty funny.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Anna asks, what should you look for when buying scallops? Can you go over kind of the dry scallop, what that means? And
well, scallops are one of the most delicate seafoods in the world, right? So they're delicate because once they come out of the shell, you know, they're not alive anymore, and you have to handle them with such care. Also, when you just touch them, they're like marshmallows, right? And they're not that forgiving. They're you know, not like a shrimp, which is really firm. So the way that you pack a scallop really varies, and a lot of people think it's easier and it is more gentle to pack it in liquid, right? Because it's just floating in liquid, it won't get bumped around. But the problem is if you can imagine a marshmallow suspended in liquid, it would just be a sponge and it would soak in all that liquid. And so chefs don't love that, because then you have like this big kind of waterlogged scallop, and that's really hard to, like I said, caramelize and cook. So when you buy scallops, I look for dry packed scallops, which is not always the easiest to find, and that's why, you know, having a source like Fulton Fish Market who can get you these is genius. And so that's what I love. I also love big scallops, right? I like to have that bite that colossal scallops give you, and they have to be well sourced. You really taste what the scallops have been eaten and fed. So the fact that they're not treated with chemicals is so, so, so important. So what I'm doing with these scallops is I'm literally just taking them and I'm cutting them right down the middle. Nothing that big. If they're too big, if they're massive, I might cut them into 3 pieces, but just kind of bite-sized pieces. Again, if you're not into scallops or never cooked it before and a little worried about it, you could use a whitefish like cod or halibut. Any of those will work. Just kind of cut them into bite-sized pieces, and you can do this exact recipe with those. Now, one of the things I did with our kind of liquid here is I actually turned down the heat. So Richard, can we go back to just a top-down view? You guys can see it's not boiling anymore. There's just like little bubbles happening around, right? So what's happening is we brought it to a boil. The potatoes have kind of been cooked. The corn has been cooked. Everything is still kind of cooking, but much more gentle. You can imagine getting into a hot tub and there's lots of bubbles happening and you're kind of being thrown around and thrashed around. That's fine when you have a potato or when you have some corn, right? They can take that. But when you have gorgeously sourced seafood, like what we're getting from Fulton Fish Market, you want to treat it really gently and softly. And if you cook seafood really from a rolling boil, it gets chewy. So you want to cook it gently and softly and just keep it really delicate. So I'm going to take these scallops, now that our broth's kind of at this simmer, and I'm just going to lay them on top and just kind of let them gently steam. I'm not even going to mix them in. I'm just going to kind of lay them there, and they're just going to do their thing. They look great, and they smell amazing. All right? Next up, we have these peeled and deveined shrimp. Oh, any questions about that? I want to pause on scallops.
I don't have any more in the chat right now, but I just wanted to say to like the gentle poaching, also keep that in mind with like shrimp cocktail or like however, I think sometimes when you're like, oh, shrimp's chewy or rubbery, that's because it's being like blasted with heat.
100%. I can taste seafood and know it's been treated with respect by someone who knows what they're doing or doesn't know what they're doing. And when you have a scallop like this, that's just been lightly poached, and I'm just going to tuck them in the broth just a little bit so you can see something, but I'll just kind of hold one up. And Richard, I don't know if you can see this, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's almost already cooked. Like it's turned white versus opaque, and it's already kind of getting there. And so you don't need a lot of heat to cook seafood. That's what's beautiful about it. It's not like a piece of chicken or pork, where, you know, these just take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to cook through. So it's really, really fast. And same thing with these shrimp. So I'm just going to start to kind of tuck these in. But these are peeled and deveined shrimp. All right, these are the only fair trade shrimp in the entire world. They're the right size, okay? Meg mentioned kind of shrimp cocktail. If you like that size where you can handle it, it has a good bite, this is that shrimp. So we're just going to kind of tuck these in. And they're so unbelievably sweet. We've actually cooked with this shrimp a lot. Meg mentioned we have other classes. We've cooked Fulton Fish Market shrimp in paella, risottos, things like that. It is unequivocally the best shrimp on the market. I mean, really, really solid. So I'm gonna throw the lid on top. What that's gonna do is it's gonna circulate the steam, right, from the actual base. So all that base, the steam's gonna kind of wrap itself around all the seafood, and it's gonna start to kind of steam it from the top, which steam is another great, gentle use of heat. I'm gonna get rid of this board since it has seafood on it, and I am going to wash my hands. Amazing. I think it's, it blows my mind. Like I said, I live in Seattle, Washington. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. And I would say every night, not every night, I'll go 5 nights out of the week, we had seafood. Like, it was just kind of normal. We would roast up salmon. My mom would make, a shrimp stir fry, something like that. And I then went to college. I started to kind of travel the world, and I realized that people just didn't eat seafood that often. And, maybe it was like once a month, or it was like for a special occasion. And so when I started teaching cooking, I started asking people, like, why don't you cook seafood? Like, and it turned out that people are really intimidated by seafood. And they don't want to ruin it. They don't want to overcook it or undercook it or whatever it is. And the reality is, cooking chicken, cooking steak, cooking pork, in my mind, way harder. Meg, you can weigh in here, but seafood is like faster and much easier in my mind. But what do you think, Meg?
I love shrimp and, something like scallops, but especially shrimp too, because they thaw so quickly. So it's even faster to cook if you have them in the freezer.
Let's talk about that real quick before we kind of garnish this puppy. But, these come to you and they're frozen, right? And, I just stick them right in the freezer, really, really simply. But a lot of people ask me, okay, well, how do you thaw them out? So let's talk about the safest, best way to thaw them out. So Meg, do you know, or anyone in the chat, what is the safest, best way to thaw out anything frozen, but specifically seafood?
We have a great chat today, so let's see what they have to say.
A great what?
A great chat. Great vibes in the chat.
So what do they say? Let's see what they say.
Let's see.
And while you guys are talking, I'm just kind of cutting up my scallions. Just kind of getting those kind of chopped up, and everything else I'm just going to rip up in there. Really simple. But those are the scallions we kind of saved from the top. All right, what are people saying?
All right, someone said water or in the fridge. Steph said overnight in the fridge.
Yep.
Mike said flamethrower. Is that?
Flamethrower. Wow.
It's kind of a hibachi.
All right, so the best way to do it is to put these bags in the fridge overnight. When you wake up in the morning, they might be a little bit frozen still. So by dinner time, they'll be ready. It's usually about 24 hours at a slow de-thaw. And that's the safest way to do it. It's just slow, low, let it just kind of slowly let the ice melt. You can do this if you're in a rush, if you're like, oh shoot, I have to get dinner on the table, and all I have is frozen scallops in the freezer. How do I de-thaw these quickly? Do not use boiling water, okay? What you do is use cold water, and you want to keep it flowing. So you take the scallops out of their package, put them in a bowl, put cold water in, and let the cold water run. And just let fresh water go through, and those scallops will be thawed out in, I don't know, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe 25 minutes, something like
maybe
that.
Even less.
Don't nuke them, nothing like that. I will say, if you're going to just go right through and cook them, it is safe to just cook them. Like, you could put these scallops on a saute pan and just cook them from frozen, or put them into this beautiful green curry and cook them, and they're totally safe because you've taken them all the way through. Where it gets unsafe is if you use hot water to de-thaw them and then they're sitting around and all that stuff. So either take them all the way through or it's low and slow. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone, but hopefully it does. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have a question on, I will just say, if you let them thaw, they're going to cook more gently and evenly and all of that. But the number on the bag of shrimp, I think ours maybe says 1620. What's up with that?
Yeah, good question. So the number on the bag. So is there one on here? I don't think there is one on here. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Can we get close here, Richard? I'm going to turn up the heat just a smidge. So right here it says 1620. Okay, which means in this bag there is 16 to 20. It's somewhere in that range shrimps, and that's per pound. So 16 to 20 shrimps per pound. So you can imagine if they were little baby shrimps, it could be more like 30 to 40 shrimps per pound. If they were giant shrimps, it might be like 8 to 10 shrimps per pound. So it just kind of talks to you about how big the shrimp is to their weight. It's a great question. All right. So at this point, I've let the seafood kind of steam for a bit, and I turn up the heat just a little bit. And at this point, I'm just kind of stirring them to the bottom, still being gentle. I'm not boiling it. I'm just kind of gently letting it do its thing. And you can see the shrimp is starting to kind of turn that gorgeous pink, right? If you start to boil it, if you start to see any big bubbles, just turn it down, nothing crazy. And we're just gonna go from there. So at this point, we're getting really close to plating up. I'm gonna grab my bowl. I felt like this was very seafood boily-ish. Is that right? I think it is. And I will say, I think this is all one meal, personally. It's got the potatoes, it's got the corn, it's got the gorgeous seafood. But if you want to put this over some grits or some rice or some egg noodles, I think that would be great. Oh, this looks amazing. So how do you know this is done? All right, how do you know when it's time to eat? The shrimp should look pink and curled up. When you pick it up, it shouldn't be bouncy. It should be kind of soft with a little bit of firmness in the middle, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The scallops themselves, these are 100% cooked, I can tell. You can kind of pull them apart, and there should be no opaqueness in there. It should be just totally cooked through. Why are scallops so good? Why are scallops so good? Incredible. I'm gonna add a touch of salt here at the end. And then one of the nicest things you can do to this, I'm just gonna stir that salt in, is at the very end, add a big squeeze of lime. And that we do at the end instead of the beginning, because you kind of would lose it in the beginning. You'd squeeze the lime and not taste it. So we kind of do at the end to kind of preserve the freshness, and we all know citrus and seafood, just best buds, best buds. So that's going right in. That whole half a lime. If you want more, no judgment here. I love lots of lime. And then I just kind of start to taste the broth. And I'm like, is it where I want? The tomatoes are starting to bust open. Let's see here. Spoon, spoon. I'll use this little wooden one. I mean, that chili, it's so late. It's so good. Again, it's not heavy. I said this at the very beginning of our class here, but it's like a light stew, right? A light soup. It's not thickened with anything like a roux or anything like that. It's not a chowder. It's just this really bright, light thing. You feel like you could eat this for days, and you'd be totally fine. Mm-hmm. All right. This looks great. Speaking about eating this for days and being totally fine, you can absolutely freeze this and then just take it back to the stove and reheat it. It'd be great. I'm going to check our potatoes. Our potatoes are typically the indicator that everything is done. So you just want to be able to kind of stab a potato and make sure it goes in, no problem, which this, no problem, right in. And we are ready to plate up. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, I like to, at this point, mix everything to the bottom so it's kind of evenly dispersed. And I just pick it up, and I just go right to my bowl. And I'm getting some corn in there, some beautiful green beans, some bursted tomatoes, some scallops and shrimp. The green beans themselves are just like sponges for the seafood. And that is the goal with this recipe and why we developed it. The seafood at Fulton Fish Market is so good. Let's just create a vessel, a bath, to kind of complement it. Look at that. So I'm going to just bring this over here, Richard, so you can get really nice and close to it. That looks unreal. Doesn't that look so good? And then you have all these like fresh herbs. These are so optional, but you might want to, tuck in a little bit of lime on the side for people. Maybe take some of those cilantro tops. I don't even kind of break them off the stem. I just kind of like pile them up nice and high. We have some beautiful kind of Thai basil. Don't need them, but go for it if you want. We've got some of those scallions that we left over. Those can go over the top. It's just kind of like pho a little bit, like make it your own. You even have a little bit of chili if you want to add a little heat. These are some jalapenos. And there you have it, you guys. A really nice kind of end of the summer, floral, beautiful green curry seafood boil. It takes full advantage of how unbelievably good Fulton Fish Market is, and the sourcing and the time and the people that put so much effort in giving us the best seafood right to our doorstep. All right, let's try this out. I'm just gonna go broth first, because now, the shrimp, the essence of the scallop, that's what you get. Everything else hums in the background, but it's just, they're the star of the show, which is as it should be. I'm gonna try one of these beautiful shrimp. Take off that bottom. Look at that. That looks like, I mean, it's so beautiful. Go right back in.
I have a question about shrimp. Like why do we leave the tails on as a people?
I think A, it looks better.
Yeah.
B, the tails do have a lot of flavor. And C, it gives you something to hold on to, like I just did. But you don't need to if you don't want to. Oh my gosh. I do like to take the tails though and freeze these with those scallop feet. And those are great, again, for a seafood stock. Makes the best risotto in the world. All right, I'm gonna try a little of the scallop. I'm gonna grab a little potato with this one. Scallop's not overcooked, it's tender. Super, super sweet. I mean, the scallop itself, you barely have to chew when you cook it like this. Oh my God. This could be one of my favorite recipes. As I swallow the chili totally whole, grab a sip of water. Maybe I'm just getting verklempt. Maybe I'm just that excited about this recipe. This is divine. This is so good. You know, we've been cooking live now for about 35, 40 minutes. If I wasn't yapping away, I think this whole thing would take 30 minutes to put together. So delicious, so sustainable. If you want to make this, I'm telling you, everyone around you, including your belly, is going to thank you for it. I want to thank Fulton Fish Market. I can't believe we get to call them partners. They're the best in the business at getting us the freshest seafood out there. Again, if you've never used them before, $50 off your first subscription. So the chat has the link. Go to the link. We have our own page. We've had lots of cooking classes with them. We teach you about mussels, about whitefish, about salmon. So we kind of tackle each seafood one by one. And I appreciate that they're a company that doesn't just get you the seafood, but empowers you in the kitchen with our partnership in handling seafood better, opening up the doors and making it approachable at home. Because let's be honest, the more fish, the more seafood you're eating, the healthier you are, the more time you're saving, the more protein you're getting. There's just so many wins. So you guys, thank you so much for joining. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time right here on Homemade Live. Take care.